Hey Olivia, just finished watching your recap. Um, like you, I traded KODK today. Um, Little feedback on you. I would I would try to draw your lines a little further back and draw them across. Like I think yours was a little your ascending resistance line was a little too steep. But even like Ross said today, I mean people draw those lines in different areas. Um, but as we try to slow down the trade, I feel like the longer the line, the better. The shorter lines are better for momentum, I feel. But also, I know like today you said that your emotions got to you from losing on G-Tech, but I definitely would give your plays a little more time to actually get stopped out because I feel like you were in relatively good positions, but I think you stopped out with too much anticipation and didn't really like let the chart stop you out. But that's just my 2 cents. Um, the other thing, KODK definitely once market open was having huge bodied candles. I mean, it was moving pretty fast, so it was definitely an unusual stock to trade. I think it had a little bit higher of a float than what we normally trade. Um, Let me check. Yeah, 45 million. Um, so a little bigger. That might have something to do with it. But anyways, we'll zoom in here. So I took this position here as this had already had like 2 pushes up after breaking the VWAP. The green volume wasn't coming in super heavy, so I took actually no, I went in full position right there. I didn't divide that position into. I think it might have been a hotkey error because I've been trying to average in and out. Um, but I probably would have started here and then added as it broke the low of these 2 candles on this candle, and that red volume was coming in. I was respecting that resistance. Stop at this entry was up here at like 1374 or 8 or something like that. So I probably was just going to use this daily line and kind of watch how volume was if it got up that high. Broke through both those support lines. Just was giving it time to play. I thought about covering some in here, but it wasn't quite to my goal. I think my target was 1180s, so we were still a little ways off. I figured I'd let it see what happens at market open. I wasn't liking the green volume rolling in. I did like this sharp rejection and heavy volume on this candle, but it was right back to the highs, and I ended up stopping out a little late because I wanted to let it breathe for a second, because sometimes when they break that line, they'll pull back down, but it's hard when that momentum's kind of curling up. I mean, in hindsight, it kind of sucks because that was all the higher it went, but you never know, and you gotta respect those rules. I like this topping tail candle, heavy red volume, so I started as this candle broke the low. And I thought we were going to see more of a move back to the VWAP. Definitely hopped off this support level. Came back up. I was adding. It was happening pretty fast. I thought it had broken the low of this candle, but it didn't, so not really the best add. This ended up shooting a little over my risk, and when it pulled back, I went ahead and covered. This red candle didn't have much volume, so I definitely wanted to get out. But it ended up coming back down anyways. So I took a starter at the break of VWAP, broke through those support lines pretty well, so I added. This was a bad add. I mean, it's at a good support line. It's kind of at these lows. This was quite a long push down. I should have figured that it was going to bounce there, but you know, with this big push, I thought maybe the momentum would keep going, but I mean, now reflecting, I mean, that would have been unusual if it would continue that push. Did bounce up pretty good, but I think my risk was still back over in the 1370s area. I think target was 1156. Definitely thought about covering some there because we were pretty close, and that was a pretty sharp change. In hindsight, I should have covered some there and then probably finished up on this one, or at least covered some here because that even hit my low. But I thought since we were kind of getting further into the day that it was going to fade sharper. And the greed continued to get to me, so I was holding it. I mean, there was a low of 1112. I think my basis here was around, I think 1284. So I mean, we were almost at 15%. I think I changed my goal to 15%, but since it wasn't quite 15%, I never did cover, but I should have, because that would have been a solid trade, and it never went back to those lows again. So I'll talk about it in a minute, but I ended up hopping over to OBLN and just kind of watching this on back burner, and I ended up covering just because I got tired of watching it and I wanted to go get on with my day. I think it was right around noon. Yeah, so I just covered here as it was. I thought it was going to make a move back towards the VWAP, but yeah, so we're kind of back down again, but still a winning trade. Made back. I think I was break even on KODK after these two stop outs, but that's okay. We're learning. So OBLN. It was on the scanner this morning. It was pulling back until pre-market or until market open, and really had quite the comeback in volume flush. It brought it up pretty high. So I quick switched over here and, you know, going to the the pullback strategy. I didn't have my hotkeys set up for a $2 stock, so you're going to see a lot of red arrows, but I was just trying to get to my proper position size. So I think here the green volume was decreasing. I saw some sellers popping up on level 2, so I grabbed a starter after it kind of like pulled back after testing the VWAP. I added the rest through as it broke the low of this green candle. Barely broke through the VWAP, and since it was $2 stock, I mean that was my goal, so it didn't have to move too much. Let me try to remember what happened here. I covered half here, and then I re-added into my full position as I kind of hovered above the VWAP for a second, getting ready for the second push, and it didn't really get too far, so I covered the full position here. So this ad didn't really make too much, but it was still kind of the strategy of break a VWAP, retest, follow through, but the follow through wasn't too impressive. I guess I pulled half out here, and then these ones ended up getting stop out as it kind of started going into newer highs there. I wasn't sure how high it was going to go, so that was pretty much, this one is pretty much a break-even ad right there. But then as it was headed back towards the VWAP, averaging in, I think my stop was going to be closer up here towards 250. It didn't really get too close. Broke through the VWAP, and I think I took it all out here. It's not showing. Oh, there we go. No, it looks like I took half out. Didn't come up too much, and then I pulled the rest out there. So those were two 10-ish percents. So I think overall in the day, break even on KODK and 20% on OBLN. So I'm sure these shorts probably would have been a little more expensive, but they were still good moves nonetheless. But all right, well, I will talk to you later.